Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of making a character in Digimon Digital Adventure. If you are looking to create a human, see my previous video here, but if you are here, I'm assuming you are looking to make a Digimon. Each person in this game plays a human and a Digimon partner, so you will need to think about what you want to play as a Digimon. Not only will you be looking at its rookie form, as generally that is what it will be starting at, but you get to choose the entire path. As many of you know who are Digimon fans, Digimon do not have linear set paths that you always can do. If you want an Agumon that doesn't go down the Greymon, Metal Greymon, War Greymon line that the one in the original Digimon Adventure anime did, you want to go down the Tyrannomon line or find something even more unique that you think is more interesting, you can do that. So long as you're okay with your GM, you can go down any path that you want and have the fun and partner that you want to have. So let us dive into making this Digimon. Now, creating a Digimon, there are a few things that you can put your points into. The main thing to know about Digimon is at creation, every single one of the forms is completely different. You will be making your rookie form, your champion form, your ultimate form, your mega form, that will be completely different from the original. Now, I would recommend that they do similar things, like if their one is tanky, I would recommend making them all tanky, or do a similar role in the party, but it is completely up to you. You could change what they do through each form, though it may prove to be a bit tricky to do that, especially as you gain bonus DP later. And I will explain more about that in future videos about leveling up and growing stronger. So, the 5 main stats for Digimon are accuracy, armor, damage, dodge, and health. Now, previously you might have known the human video where you were putting points into attributes and skills and all these different things. For Digimon, there are really just 6 things that you put points into. The 6th thing being qualities. Qualities are additional abilities and modifiers that go on your Digimon, and there are a ton of qualities. So we won't be going fully in-depth into every quality, but I will be giving you a decent idea of qualities you might want to look at based on what your Digimon possibly wants to do. So, when you first look at your Digimon and their forms, you have to look at this chart. This chart will tell you how much DP you have to work with for each Digimon, because every form has a different amount. When starting out, your rookies will have 25 DP to play with. Now, typically, the way I build most of my Digimon, mostly being the Game Master, is I build stat-heavy Digimon, because it's quicker and easier for me to do. But if you want your Digimon to be more specialized and do certain things, you might want to put a few more points into the qualities to give them more different things to do. So first of all, to give yourself an idea, let's start looking into some of the different qualities that exist, so you have an idea of possibly what you might want your Digimon to do. There is a few qualities in the data optimization route. Which, do you want your Digimon to do something specific? Do you want them to specifically be a melee attacker and be bad at ranged attacks? Do you want them to be a brawler that gets in there and clashes and grapples and holds them down so your party can beat them up? Do you want to be speedy, running across the battlefield? Or an artillery that stands in the back and launches attacks at your enemies? You can specialize your Digimon so that it doesn't lock you in. It's not the only thing that you can do, but many of these will also give you penalties to doing other things. But do be aware when you're picking some of these. You want your Digimon to have offensive qualities. Do you want to be able to pierce through armor, re-roll failed rolls on dodges, and deal more damage as you take more damage, and be a monster in combat with the combat monster qualities? These are many things that you can do in order to increase your damage output and be able to take down enemies. There are defensive qualities. Do you want to be able to dodge better, or have guaranteed dodges in your dodge pool so it's easier for you to completely avoid attacks? Do you want to be resistant to effects so that you don't have to worry about enemies poisoning you as badly, or dotting you, or weakening you to lower their durations upon you? There are many different defensive ones that you can take as well. There are boosting qualities, which will increase your abilities to do other things such as skills, as Digimon are not good at skills. They have very minimal ability to use skills based on their CPU, bit, and RAM, which we'll go a little more into later when we get into spec values. But know that your humans will have far better bonuses to skills unless you put a lot of DP into changing that. Or utility qualities, such as being able to read digicode, being able to get past firewalls and understand computers and things. These are kind of utility qualities that do different things, such as that. Or support qualities, which can help you to flank enemies and deal more damage with your friends, or be able to intercede on their behalf, or have others intercede for you more easily, that aren't necessarily made to do the main damage and hardcore things of combat, but give you more options and interesting things to possibly think about. And then we get to attack effects. There are many different attack effects that you can choose to apply to your attacks. We will look into these a little more when we get into actual Digimon attacks. But this is where you can purchase in qualities different effects to put on your tags, like I've been talking about a weaken, or burn, or fear, or knockback. These are all different effects that you can put onto your attacks. Or you can even have beneficial ones, such as shielding or regenerating. These are effects on your attacks. So attacks might not always be something that you use on your foes. They might be something that you want to use to aid your allies. Once you start getting into Champion and above, you'll start looking into advanced qualities. Now, getting into all of the advanced stuff, again, qualities can be an entire video on its own, so we will go deeper into them there. But these are where you start getting into having Chrome Digizoid armor, and having burst modes, and all sorts of signature moves, and very advanced things that when you're first making your rookies, you probably don't even want to touch. But you may need to at least know them, because you may want to build into them later. There are also free qualities. These qualities are typically things that don't have much of an effect on gameplay, such as making all of your attacks non-lethal instead of lethal by default, instead of the other way around. Or making it when you digivolve into a form, its size isn't always the same and can change at a moment's notice. They're more fun and flavorful. Or they're even negative qualities, which either are made to, you want to, for a story reason, give your Digimon a weird tick and downside to it, or they can also be used in order to let you have more DP to put into other things. You can only take a certain amount of negative qualities based on your form, but they're interesting trade-offs that you can do. So once you start having an idea of how many you want in stats and in qualities, typically for many of my rookie Digimon, I'm looking at almost a 20 stat 5 quality split to start, but you can do whatever variety you want. I've seen people go with all of the qualities and then they're later build up the stats they need, or vice versa. This is entirely up to you. So when you are making your Digimon, each Digimon form has a certain number of attacks based on its stage. Your rookie Digimon that you will likely be starting with has 2 attacks, Champion 3, Ultimates 4, so on and so forth as it goes up. Now, every Digimon also has basic attacks, a basic melee and a basic ranged attack. So you don't have to worry about not having an option for either if your attacks don't do it. So whenever you are making attack, you want to make sure that your attack has a reason for existing. You want to be able to put a tag on it. The tags that are applied to attacks, by default, are only melee versus ranged. Literally means the attack is either melee or a ranged option. We'll go over how to calculate range when we get into derived stats later. A ranged attack obviously is more powerful because it can be used at range, but if it's used against someone in melee, they get a bonus equal to their RAM value, so that they are more likely to be able to dodge. And the other tag that you can apply for free to any attack that you use is the support or the damage tag. Support tags never do damage directly. They are about applying an effect tag that you then apply to it. You would have to purchase it through a quality. Or you can put a damage tag on. Typically, any attack that has the damage tag is required to do at least 2 damage in order for its effect to apply, which means that you have to get past their armor and do at least 2 damage past that, because all damage is reduced by your armor that comes in. Now, the main thing to know about effect tags is you can apply area tags to them that are purchased through qualities. Do bear in mind that each area tag can only be applied to 1 attack. You cannot have 2 blasts unless one of them is a close blast, because that counts as a different one. You can have a line and a blast, but you have to purchase them both separately. Each effect tag can only be applied to 1 attack as well. So you have 1 dotting attack. You can only have 1 attack that pacifies, or paralyzes, or any of these tags. There are some other tags that can also be applied to attacks through qualities such as charge and weapon tags. There are many different ways that you can modify your attacks to make it the way that you want. Be sure to look through it all and decide whether your Digimon specializes in this weapon and wants to use it, or is just more instinctual and defensive. Every Digimon is unique, and just because someone makes an Agumon doesn't mean that your Agumon, if you chose him, would have to be the same. You can make them however you want, though taking inspiration from the show or the Digipedia entries can give you a great starting point on building them. So once again, I have to talk about the amazing character sheet that has been made for this, link down in the description below. But if you are looking to understand how the derived stats for a Digimon are come about, let's talk briefly about how that happens. Your wound boxes are given by your health stat plus your wound box bonus. So every point you put in health is 1 additional health. The wound box bonus is determined in this table, as is many of the bonuses that you get, and is default for a Digimon of each level. So every Digimon that is a champion will have the same wound box bonus, but they will have a different health stat, so they will not all have the same amount of health in general. Brains is determined by your accuracy divided by 2 plus your brains bonus. So if you want a Digimon to be smarter, then you need to put more into accuracy. Body is a combination of your health, damage, and armor all added together divided by 3. So it is the average of your defensive stats and damage, plus your size bonus. The Digimon that are larger typically are more able to do body, which is typically used for your clashing attempts. Where agility is your accuracy plus your dodge divided by 2, plus your size bonus. Usually they are more evasive, so they're better at dodging clashes. And then we get into the spec values. These are largely small bonuses. Usually for your rookie form it will only be 1, or your humans are considered to have a bit CPU and RAM value of 1 for determining effects. Where your bit value is your brains divided by 10 plus your stage bonus. Your CPU value is body divided by 10 plus stage. Your RAM value is agility over 10 plus stage bonus. So all of these are tied to your brains, body, and agility. If you get them high enough, then you are able to rank them up. As with many things like this, you will round down in order to determine these values. So these bit, CPU, and RAM values, these will determine the strength of your effects. It'll determine the bonus that you get for dodging AoE attacks. These will come up as a lot of little things that come on during combat. But they also are the Digimon's ability to do skills, unless you take the qualities and put a large number of points into changing that. A Digimon can use its bit value to cover charisma, intelligence, or willpower. So bits tied to brains, it's all of your intellectual stuff. CPU would cover a body check, such as feats of strength, and RAM covers agility, such as stealth checks. These values will generally be very low. Even when you start getting into ultimates, a lot of them have only 3 or 4 in some of these stats. So even if you are playing on the most basic of humans, they will have +5, 6s to many of their skills, which is done so that Digimon and humans specialize in different things. Now, movement is another thing that must be determined. Your base movement is based on your stage bonus. Refer to this chart once more. This chart is used for many different things. And any bonuses that you get to your movement will be from any of your qualities that you add. Speedy, data specialization, there are many things that can add to your movement. But none of your stats will directly affect it unless you purposely put qualities into it. Now, one of the more important things that for determining, unless you are completely a melee one, which you can do melee specializations, is range. Range has 2 parts. Range is calculated at a base of your accuracy plus your brains divided by 2, again the average of the two, plus your bit value. This is how far that you can go to attack an enemy Digimon with your attacks without any penalty. Now the effective limit is calculated as just your accuracy divided by 2 plus your brains plus your bit. So this is how far you can go. Any attack that goes beyond your range towards your effective limit will take a -1 penalty for every 2 meters you go beyond, up to your effective limit. And finally, once you've got all the numbers and figured out everything, there are no aspects, there are no torments necessarily for your Digimon, but don't let that stop you from giving them a personality. Remember, Digimon are not just creatures that walk around and just say their name and, just mindlessly go into battle because you tell them to. They're people too, more or less. They have personality, they have different goals, they have aspirations that they want to do as well. Will they be in perfect tandem with their partner and work together seamlessly? Are they snarky and all the time poking fun of their partners and trying to see what trouble they can get into? Or whatever you want them to do, the Digimon is yours. Don't just believe that if you play a Gomamon, you have to be just like Joe's Gomamon. That is snarky and has a interesting relationship with his partner of many times seems combative until they get to know each other. Grow with your Digimon and try to make him like an Ipmon or like Shoutmon grew in Cross Wars. Allow them to actually breathe and grow and learn alongside of your human. If you can get both characters to truly grow and learn along this path, naturally alongside of all your friends, working with them to tell a wonderful story, that is what tabletop games are all about. I hope this is a good guide to help you figure out what you want to do to make your own Digimon in Digimon Digital Adventure. These are all the steps required. Play around with the numbers. Figure out what works best for you. And as always, everyone, remember, it's your game. Have fun. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. And as always, everyone, remember to be awesome. For the next one, take care. Bye-bye.